Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks. We're looking at the cash market, the FPX here, and quite simply, we're just looking up here for wave one. So we'll find that top in due course, but the 6,500 is the medium level over here, so that's something to look at. But of course, we've got the old highs here as well, but we're moving through that now. And I know that we've still got further to move to the upside, so we'll just see how that goes. And then we'll be looking at some sort of ABC for wave two here. Now, any market that's had this low here and it's got a trend up, it'll be pretty much in this pattern, okay? And then we'll see, then we'll be heading up for a third wave after that. So that's pretty much the pattern that we're looking at so far, and then we'll be looking at 5 waves to the upside there. I'm just going to remove this, and then we're going to drill into this little section here. I think I'll just go to the 30-minute chart. So we're picking up this particular wave 4 here, and we're looking at wave 5 here. Now, we're not sure where that's going to be just yet, so we need to build a case for that. And we need to bring in the next structure for this. So if we're looking at wave 1 up here of wave 5, so we're going from 4 to 5, we're looking for 5 waves of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're just basically breaking that down, and we'll continue to work that. And we've got wave, it looks a little bit weird, these 5 waves here, but when we start looking at stocks, you'll start to see why I've got it like this. And also too, we had news events here, and they drove that wave 1 to be the extension in here. So wave 3 is a little bit smaller than wave 1, so wave 5 will be smaller than wave 3. That's what we're looking at here. So we'll look for a little ABC to the upside here. I'm just dropping it into 15 minutes here, but let's just draw this out here. So we'll probably be looking at some sort of little wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, and well, then some sort of ABC pattern here that could pull back to the 50-60%, but I'll just take it to natural support levels at this point, and then we'll look for wave 3 to the upside. We have trades in the market in terms of stocks and indices, or in the futures market and so on for indices. We'll probably hold through this wave 2 here in most cases, but we'll just check that with, if we've got futures markets trades, we'll look at that a bit more closely. But yeah, I mean, this can pull back 61.8%, so you need to sort of really ask yourself if, how you want to ride this out. I mean, most of the time it's best, if you're a short-term trader, just to take a good chunk off the top here and then rework it back in here. And then what normally happens when you do something like that is that it doesn't pull down very far at all, and you go, well, I shouldn't have really gotten out. But you don't know that at the time, because it could go quite deep here, and then then you look a bit red in the face and so on. So it's always about finding a balance point in managing your exposure in the market. And it's a simple thing, but it takes a lot of courage to stay in a trend. And I mean, the whole thing can be simple but very complex. Anyway, that's where we are at the moment, so we'll just allow this to top here. We've also got the 4th of July coming up this week on the Friday, so lower volume trading. I think I'm not quite sure, I have to double check. There could be sort of a half a day on Thursday, I don't know, but I think it's going to create this particular top here, lower volume in that holiday coming up and those sorts of things. And when they come back from holiday, they'll all be G'd up again and so on. So I think it's a little bit like that. Let's have a look at the NASDAQ. So very simply, we've got wave 4 here, and we're going up for wave 1 with an ABC back for wave 2. And basically we're going from 22,000 to 23,000, and the trading levels between those will be, well, we've got group 1 here at the moment, so we're at the midpoint, and then there's going to be group 2 here, 65, 72 and 80, so you'll need to sort of work through that. It may extend it up a little bit higher, but technically really it should be shorter than this here. Now if I've made a mistake, then this will be wave 1 here and 2 here, then this would be wave 1 and 2. And then it'll be 3, 4, 5 up here. So we'll extend it. But I always start with the most conservative count, and then build from that point. So I'll just do that. And you know, this wave 2 here coming back into this this area here. Okay, let's have a look at stock. Okay, this is Apple. So Apple and Tesla are a little bit different from the other markets, and I want to move through today reasonably quick because I want to put in MicroStrategy and Coinbase as well. So Apple here, I don't know where my wave 2 has gone. Where's that? It's gone walkabouts over here somewhere. Oh yeah, that's right, yeah. So we've got a bigger pattern here. So the pattern here is having this wave 1 over here and wave 2 over here. So with the US stock market, as a bit of a moving average, that would leave us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, and then the US stock market is got this wave 1 over here, so then it's going to have an ABC pattern, so we'll need to bring that ABC pattern into Apple. So it's going to be a little bit like this, and this is, you know, we've got a little trade here, we got clicked in a little bit early, but yeah, but that's okay too. But we'll get this little wave 3 up here. It's going to be a bit sticky, you know, leaving the 200 here. It's a bit of a thing. And if I've made a mistake here with this little wave 1 and 2 here, then what will happen is we'll bring wave 2 over to here and look at this as an A and a B and a C here, and we'll look for 5 waves down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more little move to go down here. But we'll just stay in with this trade here, and we'll exit up here somewhere, just depending depending on where the wave structure is at that point. Okay, we've got Amazon here. So like the S&P and the NASDAQ, we've got wave 4 here, and we're going up for 5 waves here. So you can see a better, clearer 5 wave structure here with 1, 2, 3, 4, and going up for wave 5 here, and then pulling back for this wave 2, wherever that comes back here. This is probably the level here, the 220. It may reach up here higher. I'll see how that goes. I'm just not sure if that's wave 1 and 2 and going into 3 here and 4 and 5 at that point. So we'll just see how it sits out. We've got trades in here. I think we've even got more down here. But the thing is we're not going to move out of this particular trade. We want to be moving up here somewhere, and we'll get out at wave 1 up there. So we'll leave that as it is, but this particular 5 wave structure here is pretty much the main, the main pattern that we're looking at the moment. When I say main pattern, it is the main pattern, going from wave 4 and moving up to wave 1 and 2 and having 5 waves in here and so on. But they've all got their own little idiosyncrasies and so on, and we just got to kind of, you know, tie them into each other a little bit. So this is Nvidia here from wave 4 here, counting 5 waves up here for wave 1. So we'll look at this moving up here. It may even push up to 165, because 165 is the lower end of next minor group 2, just a trading levels thing. But in one way or another, we'll be looking for some sort of ABC pattern here. I'm probably doing it a little bit too big and all the rest of it, but I'd rather sort of be conservative and show the worst and sort of hope for the best in that case. But once again, we've got positions in here. We just need to keep our stops out of the way, out of mischief. And I'll just leave that there. The 150, the medium level, could be tested on this. We events can happen, and we don't want to be stopped out. We want to stay within this, and if it does come back down here, we won't be in fear. We'll see it as an opportunity, because we know we still got wave 3 to go after that. So everything is good, basically. Okay. And this is Meta here, and I'm just on 15-minute chart here. And from wave 4 here, once again, we're going up to wave 1, and we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And of course, I could easily have this particular count wrong, and we could extend it higher. as wave 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2, and so on. But we have positions in the market, and we're not going to be moving out of them. We want to, this is the worst case scenario, catching this wave 2 back here. So we're looking at the worst case. Now, it could be a better case than that and continue to the upside. Either way, we're not budging. Okay, so we want to move up, and we'll look at sort of the 800 up here somewhere. We'll see what the blue skies look like at that point. Now, Netflix is a little bit different as well, but we've got this wave 4 here because most of the other markets started their wave 4s over here. Okay, and they've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going up here. So this one started early, but I still want to tie it into the rest of the market. So we're going to look for another move up here to get this wave 5 of 1, and then we'll see how far this comes back at that point. Once again, we don't need to be shaken out of the market. We'll just chill there. If you do want to take some money off the table, then this is the place to do it in the next move here. So we could probably look at Tuesday. Probably, Wednesday would be about it because of the holidays coming up. So you could look at that with a lot of the positions, really, if you wanted to, that late Tuesday, Wednesday type of thing. But Wednesday and Thursday normally gets a bit of volatility in the market. It's normally when, certain certain financial events on the calendar come out. Okay, so Google, wave 4. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. I've got wave 3 a little bit short here, so I've probably done the wrong thing here, and I'll probably need to recount it another way, and I've already got wave 1 in here, so I'm probably going to have to do something and bring wave 1 up here. But I had this here last week. It doesn't really matter. As I mentioned before, we haven't even taken the top out here just yet on these, so we're going to end up higher. And as I figured, it needed to. This market had a deeper wave 4, and it started off slowly, but we knew that it would catch up, and it had having a few moments now. So I'll need to recount this. But look, the bottom line is that the 180 is the next level, and obviously it's the old high as well. So it's going to have a bit of time there, and we'll probably have to put wave 1 over here, and I'll refit this in here in some way or another. But once again, we don't have to concern ourselves with anything. We want to be up around the 200 mark here to finish off that. Where's my wave 5 gone? There it is. So that's that. Nothing to do here. The holidays and the old high is going to spend some time here, so just need to chill on that. Okay, so Microsoft, we've got wave 4 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and going up for wave 5 here, and then pulling back for wave 2. If you want to get out, 500 is the good place to do that, and because it'll be a little bit sticky around here, it'll take a fair bit of time. If you've got this trade on any margin, any overnight financing cost, then you probably don't want to be hanging around a large number. It can stall here, and you can see that here it was quite strong here, and now it's bowing over. So there'll be profit. Well, there is profit taking here. So we'll see. We'll see something like this play out here. How deep it goes, I don't know. I'll take it down to here, and there'll be wave 1 and 2. So it'll actually take a little bit more time than you kind of thinking. It'll be a bit sticky here, at this particular number, but it'll be some sort of pattern like this here. I'm probably doing it a little bit too large, but you kind of get the message. So decide if you want to sort of hang in there or do a runner on that. But that should be all right. But I'd sort of look to take a little bit off this. There's other trades that will be a little bit better. Okay, we've got Tesla here, which is a little bit different from the other markets, but we've got 5 waves to the upside here, triangle in wave 4 and so on. So with the other markets are heading up to wave 1. So if you can imagine them going up for wave 1 and wave 2, that means that this will go up for some sort of B wave and then come down for the C wave here and then move up at that point. So that's how I've always thought about it, and we'll just stay with that at the moment. We could pick it up down down here once we get a bit of a setup for that, but I'm not going to chase, we don't want to chase it up here for that, but that's where that is, and it's actually looking quite good. And as I mentioned, any positions we're going to have in this market are going to be long term. Okay, so we're not going to, they're not swing trades, they're going to be longer term trades in this, and we're going to keep sort of building in. It's got a different pattern than the other markets, but of course they'll all go together, you know. So okay, this is Bitcoin, and we're looking at it as wave 4 here. Now, other folks have got this, and some of our other analysts have got this as wave 1 here and 2 here instead of wave 4, and that also works as well. I'm doing this in line with the other tech stocks. This is a technology stock in its own way. Obviously, there's more to it than that, but it is technology, and it is, you know, having all the lows and turning points of the NASDAQ. So we're basically looking at this. I'm looking at this as wave 4 here, and going up for wave 5 like the rest of the stocks that we've just been looking at. Then some sort of ABC pattern here, and then moving up for wave 3, 4, and 5 in that sort of case, and then we're going to have wave 1 up here as well for this, wherever that may be. I might need to, I don't know, 126, 128, 130 is about right for that. So yeah, that's basically that, and don't need that there. But we will have a look at this on the on the bigger picture here for a moment, because it is a bit of a hot spot at the moment. So basically what we're looking at here is we're looking at this being wave 1 up here. So I'm looking at this being a 3, 4 here. Now, our other analysts have got this as wave 1 and 2 here, and I totally understand that. That counts very nicely like that. In fact, Kitty Pond was looking at Solana as being a really good setup for a long trade. So if you're interested in that, we'll be putting that on the board shortly. And but I'm looking at this just like this here, which would be in line with the S&P and the NASDAQ. So in this case, we'll be looking for wave 1 going up here, and then a possible ABC for wave 2 that may probably find support at the, what's the name here, at the 100. Could go deeper, and then we'll go up for wave 3 and 4 and 5 here, and so on. And this will make another, pay no attention to where I'm putting these marks here. I'm just working with certain levels. And then we'll look at this as wave 1 to the upside here, and then back for wave 2 here. So that's how we're viewing it here. The other side to this, if this was completely wrong, then what I would see here would be that this would be the arrival, this would be the reaction, this would be the first high above the level, and we would have a larger correction here, and then we would go up here. That would be just the normal classic trading levels pattern here, where we have the arrival, which we've got, the reaction, and then we have 5 waves moving up here to 120, 130, 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, and 3, as I call them, so 130,000. It can go higher than that as well, but it's about developing support. If it develops support on 130 here, then it won't come back here at all at that point. So that's just another, because if the market's going to continue to move up, at what point do you acknowledge that? Well, I acknowledge it at 130, and having this pattern here at 130 being triggered over here, and that would tell me that we're not coming back to the 100,000 at that mark, at that point. But this is the normal pattern here. This is the most common pattern, trading level 1. The other pattern that we could be looking at is this one here, where we're looking at this as being wave 1 up here and coming back for wave 2 and then moving off again. This is the one that I think that we're looking at this point. This will be in line with the count that we have on the NASDAQ and S&P and so on. So they're the two things. So if you're a hodler, then long as you're aware of those things, then you could even take another move down here as an opportunity. But this pullback after these 5 waves up here, this is this is the last. This will be the last time at the at the 100,000 mark here. Do you know? It's doing its thing at the 100,000 mark here. So, and the other thing that it can do, like I said, if we come up here to 130 up here, if it finds support on top of 130, then it's just going to continue up here. That's the other side to the coin. So that's the more positive side to it. But yeah, anything is possible, but they're the basic three things that are going to occur here. So this is the sort of worst here. And our philosophy's always been, while the markets, when it arrived here, that we will be spending a lot of, a fair bit of time here, because 1 is the strongest number in the market and the 100,000 is there. And the idea was to accumulate as much BTC as you can at this level, because once it's done here, then it flips to, to 2. So it's sort of a doubling of your money at that point. And then we got 3, and from 3 we go to 5 at that point. So anyway, just shooting the breeze. What we need to do now is we need to put it on 30 minutes and just have a quick look at CoinSpot. So it'll be a little bit messy here. So basically with CoinSpot, I'm doing the same thing as well. Wave 4 here to wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for wave 5 of 1, and then pulling back for wave 2 here. Now CoinSpot itself here, this whole trend to the upside here, can be counted differently as well. There's about 3 different ways to look at it, but I always drag things into the main count. So you could look at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 and 5 up here, and then an ABC, and then up again. So there are different ways to view this particular market. So it's not set in stone, but whichever way you want to look at it, it's bullish. Okay, now CoinSpot is doing really well because it's 50% of its income comes from Circle. The stable coins have been given the green light, and MicroStrategy down here, that's got lots of other different products, is being a little bit sluggish. It hasn't taken out the top here. Everybody has their 15 minutes, but this one here, I'm looking at it the same as the other markets, where we have this as wave 4 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 just taking out the top here, having wave 1 here and pulling back for wave 2. So this trade here was just, it wasn't a very good trade, and I'll mention that, but if it was something that you'd like, then this was the time to get into it at this point. So that's it at this stage for this market here. I mean, there's other ways to count all of this, but I still like to keep wave 4 here until proven otherwise. Either which way you want to look at this, whichever way you look at this particular pattern here, it's corrective, right? Because there's 3 waves in the first move here. So this is corrective, which will make all of this corrective, and then in time, whichever pattern it's going to play out at, it will take this top out here. But this particular pattern here is in line with the rest of the market, so I'll just leave it at that. It's at 400. Which is a medium level. You can see that it's basically a sticky number, so it's just sort of sticking there. But it's going through quite a large accumulation process, which will help the distribution process a little bit later push up to 500. So where I've got this here, it might push up to the 500 up here at that point. So we'll just keep a bit of an eye on that. But that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.